So today we're going to be talking about balancing your hormones with PCOS. So 3 steps to balancing your hormones naturally. Now, PCOS can look different for a lot of women, and it affects quite a few women, and most of them are handed birth control and told to lose weight, and here's metformin, and that's not a plan. That's lazy medicine. And I get slightly annoyed with the doctors, slightly, but at the same time, they're teaching you what they know, and they don't have the education on this that they should, which is a problem because there's so much you can do lifestyle and nutrition that they aren't taught. They're just like, here, we have to trigger an ovulation with a medication. Oh, let's go on birth control. And I have had clients balance their hormones, get regular periods, lose stubborn weight, get pregnant, all of that without medication, without obsessing over carbs, without going keto. So this is really for anyone who has PCOS, irregular cycles, stubborn weight, fatigue, hormonal chaos. Like you're going to get some value out of this. So first of all, what is PCOS? So PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's a syndrome, not a disease, which means it looks different for everyone. We obviously have like the stereotypical, what we think is PCOS. Like you have a missing cycle and you have this string of pearls around your ovaries. We often associate it with infertility. We also often associate it with like unwanted hair growth or unwanted hair loss, carrying a lot of weight, like mostly in your abdomen. And that can be the case, but to actually be diagnosed with PCOS, you need to have 2 out of the 3. So one is irregular missing periods, symptoms of excess androgens or excess androgens. And the thing is, we need to change the name. I vote that we try and change the name because ovaries are dynamic. And so you can have cysts one time when you go to the doctor and they're like, oh, you have PCOS. And the next time you go to the doctor, you don't have cysts. And so they go, oh, you don't have PCOS. So you are constantly all over the place wondering what's going on. And you can have missing cycles and irregular cycles without having PCOS. You can have cysts without having PCOS. Okay. And you can have insulin resistance without having PCOS. So it's important to kind of, I think, know where you are in the syndrome and also just make sure if you are getting diagnosed, you are clearly getting diagnosed, not just getting thrown a Band-Aid of like, oh yeah, you have missing cycles, you have PCOS, here's birth control, right? Now, there are a lot of myths and things that I want to bust when it comes to PCOS. And if you are diagnosed with PCOS, that does not mean that you're walking away with the sentence of infertility and weight gain. It's not true. Okay. There's so much that you can do here. I am not going to say that it's easy, but it's possible. And it's very possible if you are going to commit and be consistent. Okay. Doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect every day. It means that you're going to have a lot of imperfect reps, and that is going to get you where you want to go. Now, number 1, if you have been diagnosed with PCOS, you are not your diagnosis. And the reason why I want to make this so crystal clear is if we make PCOS our diagnosis and PCOS our identity, you will never be able to walk away from it. If we truly want to get rid of our symptoms, if we want to totally put this in remission, you cannot take on PCOS as an identity. You're struggling with PCOS. You're dealing with it. You're making progress. It's all good. But you are not PCOS. And I think that's really important to just know. This is so important in your healing journey. This is something that my clients and I work on a lot, is letting go of the identity of a label, right? Because I can't get pregnant because I have PCOS. I can't do that because I have PCOS. Really? Challenge that. I encourage you to challenge that. So common symptoms that are outside of like what you need to get diagnosed with it are irregular missing periods, hair growth, hair loss, acne, weight gain, especially in the abdominal area, fatigue, mood swings. And there's a few different types of PCOS. Now, this isn't regulated in the medical community, conventional medicine. You're not going to go in and be like, oh, you have inflammatory PCOS, you have post-pill PCOS, you have adrenal PCOS, blah, 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 blah. Like it's not really said there. But I think it's important to kind of like know what are your drivers for PCOS because you can tackle it differently. Okay. So a lot of times women will have a lot of symptoms of PCOS after birth control. Do you have post-pill PCOS or did you have PCOS before and birth control just depleted you of all necessary nutrients and now everything's just exacerbated? Or are you so depleted post-birth control that you have a lot of symptoms of PCOS and then you can get rid of it? I don't know. I don't know the answer there. I truly don't. I have seen a lot of clients have wild wild hormones after birth control, dealing with inflammatory acne, missing cycles, irregular cycles, and immediately they're told they have PCOS. And then, well, I didn't have it until I was 30. That's weird. Honestly, in my opinion, that is the easiest one to get rid of, because it's like, do you really have it? I don't really know. Like, did you have it before birth control and birth control exacerbated it? Or are we so depleted from birth control that we have all the symptoms of it? That is one. Another one is inflammatory PCOS. Another one is insulin resistant. This is the most common one. And then adrenal. So adrenal PCOS is when our adrenals are in overdrive. And this is actually going to be supported and self-treated differently than like insulin resistance. So it is important to kind of know which one you sit in. And in order to know which one you sit in, you actually need to run labs. So that's important, because based on those numbers, then you're like, oh, okay, I'm insulin resistant, because obviously my fasting glucose and my fasting insulin are wildly out of numbers. In the functional world, we like to see fasting glucose between, sorry, I had a brain blank, 76 and 86. And I think this is maybe a little bit different depending on where you sit, but I like to see fasting insulin below 5. So that's just, you can note that. You don't have to have every classic symptom to have PCOS. Sometimes you just have 2 or 3. And I think one of the biggest ones that I see people dismissed is if they don't have to lose weight and they have PCOS, and people are like, you don't have PCOS. It's like, well, just because I don't have to lose weight doesn't mean I don't have PCOS. So this is where conventional advice, I feel like, just misses the boat. You are put on birth control. And I have a lot of people who would tell me, I was put on birth control and I don't have a period without birth control, and that's why I can't get pregnant. Well, you aren't having a period on birth control either. And I'm talking about conventional pill birth control that suppresses ovulation. You are having what's called a pill bleed. Now, to actually balance our hormones, we need ovulation. Now, is birth control then going to be able to fix ovulation? No, because it's suppressing it. It's like trying to, you have a bullet wound and I'm going to put a Band-Aid on it, but I never took the bullet out. It's like, okay, well, that's not really going to heal, is it? That's what birth control is with PCOS. So when you come off of birth control and you don't have a period and you're like, oh, well, I have to go back on birth control. Well, you weren't having a period on birth control either. You were having what's called a pill bleed. So the goal here is still to figure out how to restore ovulation. Then you'll get your period back. Metformin is a Band-Aid for blood sugar. You need to address blood sugar at the root. You need to sensitize your cells to insulin. And we need to literally peel back the layers that impact blood sugar outside of food. That's going to be like your sleep, your adrenal support, your stress, your minerals that impact blood sugar. And taking out carbs and over-exercising can make things worse, especially for adrenal-driven PCOS. And I see a lot of fatigue with PCOS. So obviously, over-exercising is just going to also make things worse. So that's something to kind of keep in mind there. I don't know why we have blood sugar imbalances. So the answer is get rid of carbs. No, the answer is let's fix the issue with carbs. Let's sensitize ourselves so we can utilize carbs, because carbs are very important for ovulation. Carbs are very important for thyroid function. Okay. So step number 1, what's it going to be? If you've been here for any amount of time in my world, what is step number 1 going to be? Balance blood sugar daily. Balance blood sugar meally, all the time. Okay. This is a foundational step for all types of PCOS. Okay. Balance blood sugar, sensitize the cells to insulin, better ovulation, better progesterone, less symptoms. Okay. So let me explain to you insulin. So this is your cells over here, right? Okay. This is your cells over here in my fist. And you eat something that is going to bring up your blood sugar. So we have glucose, and it's just hanging around. Hangs around too long, it's going to cause inflammation. And insulin comes over and it has to unlock the cell to get glucose in. Now, here's your key. So you go, insulin tries to unlock the cell, and the cell's like, wrong key. Okay. So you go get another key. So now you have 2 keys and you're trying these keys and your cells are like, wrong key. And you do that until you have 7 keys and you finally have the right key. And then the cells go, oh, okay. So now instead of taking 1 key, it took 7. And this is why when our cells are resistant to those keys, you can't find the right one and it takes so long It causes inflammation. We have so much insulin circulating, which is obviously going to make it extremely hard to lose weight. And when we have insulin resistant, every time we're spiking our blood sugar, it's causing our ovaries to produce more testosterone, which if we have PCOS, we probably already have an issue with too much testosterone. Okay. And that's why this can cause a really big issue with hormonal acne. Okay. So it doesn't mean that we get rid of carbs. It means that we're going to manually balance our blood sugar. So our blood sugar is going to be these rolling hills versus peaks and valleys. And the more you do this and the more you focus on all the other aspects that balance blood sugar, you are going to sensitize your cells to insulin. I have seen it happen. I have seen women take their numbers from like wildly high to well within range. And guess what? They get pregnant if that is their goal. They have regular ovulations. This is important. Okay. So this is boring. This is the boring stuff when it comes to blood sugar. It's not about like, I don't know, buying hundreds of supplements. I find that women like to buy a lot of supplements when they feel like they have no other control over their hormones. I feel like that deserved a mic drop. I'm going to give it one. But it's true. And I would ask yourself, if you're always looking for the next supplement to like throw at the problem, do you truly feel out of control with your health? Or do we just feel out of control with our bodies and we can't implement the habits that we know we need to implement, so we try to out supplement them? What does balancing our blood sugar look like? Eating within 30 to 60 minutes of waking, including protein, fat, and low glycemic carbs at every meal. Stop skipping your meals. Stop doing fasted workouts. You want to have half your plate be non-starchy veggies, quarter protein, quarter fat, and carb. Aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So if ideal body weight is 130 or 140, that's the amount of protein we're searching for. And you want to aim for at least 30 grams of protein to break your fast in the morning with breakfast. Okay. Now, something I find with people is that when they try and hit their protein, they actually overeat in every other category of their life. Just because we need to add more protein doesn't mean that we need to add like a ton of protein powders and like peanut butter and nuts and like all of these things that also have a ton of fat and a ton of carbs, right? This is where animal protein shines a light. Okay. So that's important to know. So let me give you an example of a beautiful breakfast that would hit this goal and would be extremely easy to implement. You can prep it ahead of time. Okay. This is going to be an egg bake. So I like doing, you can do eggs, scrambled eggs. You can do egg whites if you need more lean protein, cottage cheese. I'll mix all that in, peppers, onions, spinach, chicken sausage. That was the other one. I was like, what am I missing? Chicken sausage. And mix it all up, scramble, put it in the oven, bake till it's done in this pan. Do the math of how much you added in there. So then you know what serving size you would have to eat in order to get your protein. And then add some berries with it for breakfast, or add an orange with it for breakfast. Kiwi would be another great one, high in vitamin C. There's your breakfast for the week. And you prepped it for what? 20 minutes one day, and now you have all your breakfasts for the week. Okay. It doesn't have to be harder. We just have to think smarter. Okay. So that's important. I have had a lot of clients, especially with PCOS, who will say like, it's what takes me out is the cravings. And when we can manually balance your blood sugar, you will see such a massive difference in cravings and in energy. So if you can't do all of your meals right now and you're going to start with one to start building this habit, let it be breakfast, because the more stable you can keep your blood sugar for breakfast, the more stable it will be for the rest of the day. Okay. I'm going to move you down because like, there you go. I just felt like the camera was really high and it was kind of annoying. Okay. So step number 2, we need to reduce inflammation. Inflammation is going to mess up our hormone communication. It's going to make you feel all crackly and old. It makes insulin resistance worse. And it doesn't need to be 15 supplements to start with. Okay. So one of the best things that we can do for inflammation is going to be sleep. Even if sleep is imperfect as of right now, you can still start creating a habit with it. And there's a couple things that I have seen make such a drastic difference in sleep and inflammation, and they're free, but nobody wants to do them. So I challenge you. Get off your screens. Get off your screens 2 hours before bed. Even better, go to bed with the sun. Which is quite easy in the summer because it like goes to bed here at like 9:30. But anyways, I like to read my Kindle if I can't get off. Well, that's my book. So that is my screen, I guess I would say. Not my phone, my Kindle. So what I do is I have like this, it's like a sticky red filament thing that I put over it. So I don't have like the blue light. I find that to be really helpful, or I'll wear red light glasses if I'm reading. But sleep and staying consistent with it, going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, and going outside before going to bed, and then getting outside in the morning. Don't get on your phone. So things that I do to help myself do this, because I find this one to be the hardest, is like I said, I have red light glasses, but I have that red filament that I put over my Kindle. So my phone, like all my work stuff, like shuts down at 9, and it should shut down earlier, but right now it shuts down at 9. And I have my Kindle. I have my red light glasses if I need to do anything, because right now with newborn life, I'm going to be honest, sometimes I have to record a podcast late in the night, or I have to do client labs, or I have to do something like that. So red light glasses, best friend. And I turn my phone on airplane mode when I'm done. So I don't turn my phone off airplane mode until I've been up for a little bit during the day. So I can't answer you. Okay. Because as soon as I start seeing like notifications, I'm like, oh, I got to answer. I have all push notifications off on my phone, except for texting. So, but I'll turn it on airplane mode. That's really useful. So I find that to be very helpful. Those are like the couple little things that I do. Baby wakes up multiple times a night. I just like roll with the punches right now. So I'm going to be perfect. Do what I can. I would really pay attention to foods with a ton of added ingredients, inflammatory seed oils. Like if your majority of your diet is packaged foods versus whole foods, I think just moving over to whole foods, you're going to see a massive difference in inflammation. Start there. And then gut health support. Now, the reason why I'm not going to tell you a bunch of supplements to like heal your gut and do all of that, I want to tell you things that are going to help optimize your stomach acid, which will therefore help to optimize your digestion, which will therefore help to optimize your nutrient absorption. And that is bitters. Bitters are amazing. I don't think they're not given enough love. And I might like them better than digestive enzymes. I think they're both important, but if you have a lot of issues with digestion, I would start with bitters. Some of my favorites are from Subluna. Subluna, Subluna. I like the Kahlua bitters. I think it's called my bitter half bitters. Catnip, if you're someone that deals with a lot of nervous anxiety, digestive issues, catnip bitters would be really good for you. And you just put them on your tongue and let it sit there for 30 seconds before you swallow it, and try and take it 10 minutes before eating. So I love those. Anything from Subluna, you can use my name, Leah, to save, I think it's 10%, maybe it's 15. I think it's 10% with them. Minerals are going to be really, 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 really important for digestion, because you need sodium and you need potassium to have optimal stomach acid. So that's where electrolytes can be really helpful, getting in your little mineral mocktails. So that can be really useful. I'm just going to like list off a ton of electrolytes that I like and use. Are you ready? Elite from Body Bio, I love. If you need something that doesn't have monk fruit, stevia, anything in it. So these supplements you can get from the Full Script dispensary at a discount. Let me tell you how to get there. So I think it's just linked in the show notes under favorites. It will say like Leah's favorites, and like click on that and then scroll to the bottom where it says like get your supplements at a discount. It's there. Where was I going with this, you guys? Okay, so that's where I would get enzymes. I like Smidge HCl free, and that's where you can get Body Bio Elite. And then I like Just Ingredients electrolytes. I think their discount code is my name, Leah. Their Fruit Punch and Hawaiian Ice are so good. Paleo Valley electrolytes, their lemon lime. Chef's kiss. I love that one. It's just not super tangy. It's amazing. I love it. You can use my name with them, Paleo Valley. Use my name, Leah, to save with them. I think it's 15%. And then what else we got in the terms of electrolytes? I drink a lot. Subluna also has electrolytes without monk fruit and stevia. They have a little bit of maple syrup, I think, as a sweetener. Yeah. They have their skin glow ones. Then they also have the volcano people ones. That one tastes disgusting to me, but I do like the benefits of that one. So those are all things that are, I think, really useful to help support your stomach acid, which will help support your gut health, which is why. So again, not 15 supplements, just pick 2. And then we need to support ovulation. And this one is kind of a bigger, broader topic because figuring out why you don't have ovulation or why you have irregular ovulation is kind of like a deep dive that we have to go into. So to figure out what's going on with ovulation, obviously, if it's insulin resistant impacting ovulation, we need to start with blood sugar balance because that's going to make the biggest difference for supporting ovulation. And then the next one that I would be doing would be minerals, mineral testing. This is why I love HTMA testing when it comes to where's my ovulation? Because if you don't have enough of the nutrients that you need, and at a cellular level, you don't have the minerals that you need to support your thyroid absorption and to support your adrenals, your body's just like, well, I'm not going to ovulate. I don't feel safe to ovulate. I don't have the tools to ovulate. And this is where HTMA testing is amazing. And also, it shows you how you can support your blood sugar through your minerals. Because yes, there are mineral patterns that impact blood sugar. And when we can fix those, that makes such a difference in all of the other work that you're doing. And then another one, which I feel like is non-conventional when it comes to supporting ovulation, is stress resilience. Adaptable nervous system would be another way to talk about it. And that isn't just sitting here and doing breath work, like in for 4 and out for 8. It's doing things to help your nervous system become more adaptable and resilient and able to handle stress. So unloading your stress bucket every day. Does that mean you're going to start your day off with visualization exercise? You're going to actively walk away from situations and do things to help regulate your nervous system? I do this obviously a lot. And I will say that I had a very proud moment with my 2.5-year-old who was having a meltdown about something or other. And he comes over and goes, Mom, I need you to calm me down. And I was like, oh, I can help you with that. Co-regulation is really useful. And that's what helping somebody else calm down is called co-regulation. And so when it comes to nervous system and stress resilience, pay attention to if people make you feel more relaxed and at peace or if people make you feel stressed and wired. And maybe hang out more with the people who make you feel relaxed and at peace and more centered. Co-regulation. Gentle movement is great for supporting ovulation, obviously, because it's going to help insulin. It's going to help stress as well. I wouldn't be doing HIIT workouts, but walking, trying to get your 10,000 steps. I feel like that's just a random number people gave out. But I will say that I see such a difference with people when they do actually hit their 10,000 steps. Because on an average, I see people barely hit 4,000. Barely. And then they wonder, they're like, why can't I lose weight? I'm like, well, let's just start with getting more walking in. Let's just get more movement in. Massive exercising. Let's just get some walking in. And this is where tracking your ovulation is important because you could be somebody who's just having a withdrawal bleed without an ovulation. So we want to actually be tracking that ovulation, actually be tracking that time from ovulation to period and making sure it's long enough. So where is your ovulation is going to be the first start. You have to be like, okay, is it insulin resistant? Do I have too much testosterone? Do I not have enough minerals? Do my adrenals need some more support? Do my thyroid need more support? All of these things. And this is where testing can really be your game changer. So this is why we do testing in the Hormone Reset program. This is why we work on stress resilience. This is why we work on reducing inflammation. This is why we have such results with women who have PCOS, okay? It's not a life sentence. It's a hormonal imbalance. It's a metabolic imbalance that you can rebalance, right? Doesn't mean you get rid of it, but you can put it in remission, put it in your rear view window. You don't need perfection. Remember how I said perfection is not the goal here? Imperfect reps consistently over time are going to get you there. So it's like, okay, I wasn't perfect with that meal. Great. Moving on. Next meal. I wasn't perfect with my stress today. Great. Moving on. Next day, we're going to do a little bit better. Okay. And accountability and having somebody else walk alongside you and look over this bird's eye view so you don't have to guess and throw spaghetti at a wall will truly make a difference for you. So if you're like, yes, I need to make this difference. I need more help. I want the testing. I want to feel better. I want to not have this be my sentence and actually put it in that rear view window. Hormone Reset program. we can help you. So book your free consult call to see if it's a good fit for you, because we do want to hear your story. So just go to bit.ly/HRP free call and we'll chat with you. Make sure you fill out the symptom form so we can make sure we have some actionable advice for you to walk away with on your call. And if this was really helpful for you, it would mean the world to me if you would share it with somebody. You don't have to share it on your social media. Just like share it with a friend. Did you know that one year we were in the top 1% of podcasts that were shared via text message? That's because you're awesome.